Hey guys, hope everyone's having a good week and excited about this next week. Christmas is coming up, and yeah, wanted to give an update to everyone about how I'm doing. Um, so doing well. Another week in the books, sticking with it. Got Christmas coming up, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to navigate that. But overall, nothing to complain about. I wanted to take a little bit of time this particular week and talk about. Sorry, my dog just opened the door. Talk about kind of things that I've been thinking about recently, and a new supplement I started taking, and some of the benefits that I've already seen. So the first question I want to kind of just unpack a little bit is, well, why am I even doing this, right? Versus just, living my life normal and not doing anything different and just hoping that nothing bad happens, right? So first off, statistically speaking, I have good odds from a cancer diagnosis perspective, roughly 10% chance that, well, we'll go morbid here, 10% chance I'm dead in 5 years because of cancer. So 10 people in a room, all of them do the same diagnosis as me, one of them's dead in 5 years. That sounds good in the case of cancer diagnosis, but those are some pretty horrible odds, especially when you consider the chance of a young, relatively healthy person, and a 34-year-old male, or really, I think that anyone under 50, the chance of getting colon cancer is 1 in 50,000. So I've already had really horrible odds that perspective. Those other odds, once you're above 50, I think the odds of a man getting colon cancer is about 1 in 20. So that's actually really high. I'd say I think it's like 4.5%. So it's actually a lot more common than you'd think, but it's just common in older people, right? Young people, it's not common at all. And then when you figure Luke's case, he's basically 1 in a billion-ish, maybe a couple 100 million. So statistics are not my friend at all. I'm the statistic. And then to have it happen in the same year with with you and your son, that's probably never happened before, this exact thing before. There are people who have had cancer and someone else get cancer at the same time. We heard that in St. June. So that can happen, but it's, I don't know, incredibly unlucky. So with all that to say, just relying on chemo, really chemo is the only treatment that they have right now that's that effective, just doesn't seem wise, especially because it doesn't actually improve outcomes that much, right? If it was like chemo and it's got like a 80% success rate, well, then that would be one thing, but chemo's got not a very good success rate because it all depends on the staging, and after that it's like, you had stage 4, chemo will give you a 5%, 10% chance better of your already horrible percent chance. Luckily I'm not in that scenario, but it's not good. So anyway, what's the idea here, right? So the idea is your body is an amazing tool. It keeps itself alive, keeps things moving, and it does that with your immune system. That's how you just don't die anyway, right? And if you have cancer, basically what has happened is your immune system does not see cancer as an invader, or it is too weak to fight it. And so cancer takes hold, rapidly growing, and gets out of control, and your immune system loses the battle, right? And the reason your immune system loses the battle can be a variety of things, but the main thing is your immune system didn't win. And so the idea is give your immune system all the tools that it can have to fight the disease. And so the reason why you would go organic, or you would do any of the stuff I'm doing, is to make it easier on the immune system, so it is not fighting other things, and it has nothing else to do, so hopefully it goes and fights the cancer. Now, right now, I don't think I have cancer. There's no known cancer, no visible cancer in me. But the problem is, you can have just a couple cancer cells floating around in there, and that's why you don't see them, but they really are there. And then in the research I've done is, if you've had colon cancer, or, we'll say colon cancer in particular, it was the research I was looking at, you've had it fully removed, the odds of that cancer coming back in the next year are basically zero. I think it's like a 5% chance. When it comes back is in that 2-year mark. That's when it comes back. And if it's going to come back, it's going to come back in the 2-year mark, and it's going to be bad, or it could be bad, right? You start fighting it again. If you get past the 2-year mark, the odds of you making it to 5 years is like 90%. So it's really that first year, you don't really know. You shouldn't expect to see it. So like you hear I'm cancer free or whatever. That doesn't really mean anything yet. Because I should be, statistically speaking, I will be. But it's that 2-year mark is when it really starts to be like, okay, yeah, you really are cancer free. It's just not, like you're likely going to be, you likely beat this, right? And then the 5 years when they kind of say, okay, like, yeah, you're really here. But it's the 2-year mark is a really good indicator. Now I don't know, 2 months. So at this point, it doesn't really mean anything. All right, I'm going off on a random tangent here. But the point here is your body is always fighting invaders, viruses, bacteria, and in many cases, all the processed food you put in your body, right? So like if you look at the sources of a lot of these things that are processed, it's like coal tar and petroleum. Like it's things that should not be in your body. And, it's in everything. It's in all kinds of processed stuff. Like I didn't look at labels before, but now I do. And I'm like, what the heck is this? Like I was getting tortillas yesterday, and I was just going to get a pack, and I'm like looking at the back. I'm like, what? Why? Like tortillas should be like flour and water and oil. Like why is there like a list that's this long of random things I can't read? And then I went and I was like, okay, well, let's go try the like uncooked tortillas. Maybe like they don't need all the preservatives, right? Same crap in them. Like there was a whole bunch of stuff that I was like, why? There was one that was literally just like flour, oil, water, salt, and sugar. Of course, that's the one I got. But it was like, why? Like why is this here? I don't know. But we're putting it in our bodies every day. And I think one of the things that I've kind of had a shift in my own mindset is, up until this point, I've always kind of viewed health as mostly just, are you overweight? Like that was kind of the main, like if you're overweight, then you're going to have health issues. If you're not overweight, then you're healthy, right? And if you look at it from that perspective, you can look at it from a macro perspective at protein, fats, carbs, calories, and you can just kind of be like, well, it doesn't really matter where they come from. It's, calories a calorie, a carb's a carb. Proteins digest better. Fiber, digest better. So like, or don't, doesn't turn into fat as much. So eat lots of fiber, eat lots of protein, and you're good, right? Well, I did all that. I ate lots of protein, ate quite a bit of fiber, and I got cancer. So clearly, it didn't make me healthy enough. My immune system was not healthy enough to fight things. And younger and younger cancer is becoming more and more popular all the time. Like this isn't the disease of cancer is not being beaten. It's getting worse. And it's because of what we're eating and the stuff that's around us. But I think it's primarily because of what we're eating. And so kind of the shift that I've had recently is obviously to organic and lots of fruits and vegetables and things like that. But the main thing is just to limit the toxic load on my immune system so that when I am, eating and my body is digesting, it is not having to detox, red 40 out of my, body. And so my immune system has more power to go and fight other stuff. That's the theory anyway. Now, the reality is no matter what I do and what other people have done, it might not be enough, right? Like just because your immune system isn't fighting all these bad processed foods, maybe your body has become too unhealthy and you have cancer and you just can't fight it, right? And the last ditch effort is, you just do chemo and you kill your body and the cancer and you hope for the best. The problem with chemo, though, and the reason why we need another solution, right, is that chemo, all it does is it kills the cancer, right? Very reliable. You just up the dose and it will kill the cancer, right? Like it does work, but it's poison. And what will happen is it kills everything else in your body too, and it kills your immune system, which the problem with this, and what you'll hear in a lot of cancer stories, and what happened with Luke, but you'll hear it in other cancer stories too, is everything looked good, and then it came back so much faster, and then that's what took them out, right? And I mean, there's, I'm sure, studies and stuff or whatever, but what seems to happen is the chemo, it doesn't get the cancer all the way, but it lowers your immune system so much that it gives that cancer the ability to just go crazy. Because your immune system was actually holding that cancer at bay a little bit, just not enough. But now your immune system's destroyed because of the chemo, and the cancer takes hold and it's over, right? So, all this to say, the idea here, obviously, no one's even recommending chemo. My percentage, there's not enough benefit yet. And hopefully I'll never have to see, cancer come back and even have to consider it. But I'm focused on reducing my toxic load in my body so that my body has the power to fight the disease, right? Whether it's not seen in my body yet or it's coming in the future. I mean, there's lots of other diseases that can kill me besides cancer. Anyway, so that was my initial plan, and that's what I've been doing. But over the past, couple weeks, I heard about this supplement called beta-glucan. And I've been researching it, watched a bunch of scientists talk about it, and started taking it about 4 days ago. What beta-glucan is it's not a drug, mostly because, it is a drug in, I think, Japan, actually. But it's not a drug in the United States. And I think the main reason for that is it's really hard to understand all the impacts and things that it can do. And so the FDA hasn't approved it. But it's also too cheap for them to really prove it out, because okay, we spend, a couple $100 million and we sell it for $50. It's not going to be the cancer drugs that they can sell for, tens of thousands of dollars. But beta-glucan, if you go do a little research yourself, is the most researched supplement ever. 100,000 studies kind of amount of research. And it should be a drug considering the amount of research that they've done. And what it is specifically being researched in primarily is in the help of cancer, because that is where the money is, even though there isn't as much money as there would be in another drug. But the idea, basically what happened is back in I don't know, it was the 60s or 80s, they realized that I think it was mushrooms specifically, that if you took a lot of these mushrooms, your immune system would improve. And so they researched it and found out that if you broke down this component in a mushroom, which is called beta glucan, it would bind onto your immune fighting cells. There's T cells. There's a bunch of different kinds of cells that your immune system uses. But if you have enough of it in your body, so if you're just eating a lot of mushrooms or whatever, then your immune system consumes it, and your immune system gets stronger, and it basically is like supercharges it, right? So I was listening to one of the scientists, and he basically said the average healthy person's immune system, like capability of the cells in your body, can run at about 30%. So nobody runs at 100%. It's just like you don't use 100% of your brain, right? Like you don't, right? But someone who's unhealthy might even be running, 5, 10%, whatever. But a healthy person, think of an athlete, whatever, they're running at 30%. So they can still go on a plane and get a cold, right? Like they can be super healthy, in shape, eating all the protein and fiber, and someone coughed and now they've got a cold for a week, right? Like that still happens. Well, beta glucan, what it can do is it kind of like just modulates and make your immune system stronger. So depending on the dosage you can take, it can boost your immune system. And remember, like your immune system is keeping you alive right now. So it's not like it's in the gutter right now. But it can boost it to make it stronger. And depending on the dosage, they found in their studies that they can almost double the capacity of your immune system. So like if you're at 30% on a healthy person, you take the highest dose of beta glucan, you end up with 60% immune system, which in the case of cancer might be enough to help while you're in chemo, because your immune system getting destroyed because of chemo and your immune system is now stronger during it, or potentially just your immune system gets strong enough to now see the cancer and go kill it. And in some cancer studies, they've actually found that your immune system, so part of the problem with cancer is your immune system ignores it. Like they decide that it's not a disease. They decide it's part of you, even though it's a disease. And so one of the things that they found is that when you take the beta glucan, that it basically says, oh no, that's actually bad. And then they go and get it too. So anyway, do some research on beta glucan. The more I've researched it, the more I think that literally everyone should take it. But the idea here, though, is it boosts your immune system. And if you have a stronger immune system, it will get the bad things out. Now, here's the flip side. Is if nothing bad is in your body or you're not exposed to anything, you won't see any different, right? If you're perfectly healthy, your immune system will stay exactly the same. It only gets it stronger if it needs to be there. So you could go take it and be like, well, this didn't do anything. Well, if there's nothing wrong, then nothing's going to happen, right? But the thing is there's stuff potentially wrong that you don't know about that don't have visible effects that it could benefit from. And since we know that cancer and some of these other things are, kind of running rampant these days, it makes sense to have the strongest immune system you can have, especially if you're going to have a regular diet and still consume processed foods and red meats and like all the stuff. Like give yourself a little boost, right? Maybe when that cancer cell's small, your immune system just kills it and you never have to deal with any of this, right? So anyway, I started taking it at the highest dose, and they say basically, if you have cancer, like you want to take a different dose. If you don't have cancer, you just kind of take a little bit, get your immune system a little stronger, no big deal. If you have cancer, you take a high dose. So I'm taking a very high dose, and I probably will for like at least 2 years, maybe even longer. But it takes roughly 3 days to get into your system and your immune system actually take advantage of the beta glucan and actually work. Well, prior to this, I had a cough, like a bad cough. Like I'd cough up gunk in the morning. And that's actually been kind of something I've had for a long time, but it was gotten extra worse recently. And I think it happened because I hadn't had enough protein and my immune system kind of got low because of that. And so that kind of caused it to go bad. I've also just generally had kind of like a stuffy nose ish on and off like all the time. Like it just, I don't know if it's allergies or what. I still have a little bit right now, but it was just like, it's like forever. And I've kind of just accepted that's who I am. Well, I started taking the beta glucan, and I remember I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, I can breathe like completely, like it's completely clear. And I'm like, I can't remember the last time it was completely clear like this. And ever since then, that was the first day, right? My kind of cough where I was coughing up nasty gunk, it's still like it wasn't gone completely, but like I haven't coughed like that today. I think I've had like before this, I would have like 2-3 bouts a day where I'm like coughing up gunk. After it, I think I had maybe one. And like I don't think I had one today. And I'm only on like day 4. So like if I had an actual issue in here, I imagine will take a little bit of time. So we'll see how it goes, next week, that'll be a whole week on and be like, oh, okay, maybe I'm full of it. And actually I'm coughing like a crazy smoker right now. And it made no difference. Or it really did. It could be in the head too, because like I've also got digestive issues from the surgery. And I feel like those are getting better faster too. Like I feel like this is a bit TMI here, but like when you have colon surgery, specifically near the rectum, which is mine was almost rectal surgery, you will have issues potentially up to 6 months, is what my doctor said, where you feel like you have to use the restroom all the time. And I definitely did. And I still have problems. But I feel like ever since I started taking beta glucan, the impacts of those issues have lessened. Like it feels like it's healing faster than it was. And I'd be really interested, obviously, I mean, it's been 4 days, right? So this will be a lot more pronounced in like 2 weeks where I'm like, okay, I'm completely back to normal. What the heck, right? Or it's like, well, yeah, no, I was fully in my head. I just wanted it to work, and I'm still the same as before. We'll see. We'll see. But so far, I have been pretty impressed. Obviously, I'm unhealthy internally. And so my immune system going on steroids is best for me. But I'd wager that many of you, your immune system is just keeping up because of all the toxins that are around us and the things that we eat. Look at the labels and you're just like, why? Like, why, right? But it tastes delicious, so, we do it. So I think everyone should consider it. Research it, and maybe if you've got bad allergies or you've got, just chronic issues, give it a shot for 90 days. See what happens, It could potentially just, your body starts working better and, maybe your issues are just keeping you, they're coming back and forth, seesawing back and forth. And you just, boost your immune system a little bit, and now all your issues go away because you just need a little bit of help. But I do think, obviously, being impacted by cancer and everything, your body needs a little help, and it's worth taking. Anyway, so that's my update. I got the beta glucan, been taking it for 4 days. We'll see how it goes. Been sticking with all the other stuff too, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But hopefully, I'll just be yapping for a couple years about how nothing bad's happening to me, and I'm just doing these things. That's what I'm hoping for. But realistically, the odds are not in my favor. So I am hoping to flip the odds on their heads by using different tools. And I do think, and if you look into the future of cancer research, the research is on things like beta glucan. It's not necessarily beta glucan. They're looking for chemical compounds that they can, charge through the nose for. But the idea is, how do I make the immune system decide to go and kill the cancer, right? How do I tell the immune system, get rid of this cancer in your body and not have to destroy the rest of your health in the process? Like, that's an actual cure to cancer, not what we've been doing, which is, murdering you and the cancer at the same time and hoping you live. Like, that's what we're doing now. Like, effectively, the way we treat cancer is kind of like back in the day when they put leeches on you and they're like, well, we'll suck the blood out and, the bad stuff will come with it. It's like, yeah, but not really. Like, that's kind of what cancer, a lot of the cancer, chemo at least, is. Like, it's old technology and it's time for some new stuff, and it's coming. I'm hoping to live long enough till they actually get it. Beta glucan, I think, is going to be part of it because they literally are studying it incredibly heavily. Anyway, that's the update for today. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. See you later.